All right, we're going now on part 2 of the speech critiques. This one goes to Brown, and you talked about a brownie recipe, and let's talk about that. Um, Watch the camera shot. I cannot see your eyes. You need to have light on your face. I need to be able to tell whether or not your eyes are open or closed. I need to be able to tell whether you're looking up or down, all of those kinds of things. You showed the audience for 3 seconds. I couldn't count or identify anyone in the audience. Can't do that, and it'll cost you on your grade on the speeches. It would appear that you are reading your speech. You're down here like this all the time. You look up when you don't have anything to say and then back down to read the next thing. There was no enthusiasm. Pep it up a little bit. You are, in a sense, when you're giving an informational speech, kind of saying, I know something and I find it kind of interesting and I want to share it with you. You see the difference between, I got this assignment and I'm going to have to tell you about it. Boy, that's exciting. So try to, and this is not just picking on Brown, this is something all of you can benefit from. Pick a topic that you have some interest in, and then show me that you have interest in by your animation, by your determination, by the strength of what you're doing, and by a little pep and enthusiasm in what you're doing. Brown watched the TISC. You have too much camera movement. Use a tripod or set the camera on a solid, unmoving surface, but on eye level. Don't set it down so you're shooting up. Make sure you're doing that. I think you said something about let these babies cool off completely. I don't think when you're talking about brownies, you want to be talking about let these babies cool off completely. Try not to be so colloquial that you get too conversational. You still want to keep a high level, but you want to talk to me, not at me. This was not a reading exercise, which is what you made it into by reading almost everything. You need to show us something. This is a kind of a process, a kind of a demonstration, and you didn't really show us anything. Next up is Lou. Lou talked about cookies. It was a total of 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That's way too short. Why would you never appear on camera yourself and show your audience for 3 minutes and 40 seconds? You actually shot your back. You showed me the audience for 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It's you. It's your speech. It's about you. I could care less about watching your audience for 3 minutes and 40 seconds by hearing you. And since you have to send a photo ID in, and I don't even know that that was you that gave the speech because I can't compare your back with a picture of your face if, in fact, you have sent me your photo ID. So there were just too many problems with this presentation, and I strongly suggest that you get a little bit more into what's going on with the class. All right, discussion boards, exams. You've got to take everything. Every speech must be given in order to pass this class. You want to pay attention to that. You want to hit all the deadline dates. If you have any questions, as always, call me in the office. I have a lot more enjoyment talking to you. I can explain things to you. I can go back and reference some of the things that I have on file here. And all you need to do is give me a call in the office. On your syllabus, you have a toll-free number if you want to use that to call me. And we have our next speech coming up, which is the informative speech. Pick a topic that you have some interest in. And then look at it from the standpoint of, and I'm going to give away something. I talked to a member of the class, and they wanted to talk about basketball. And by the time we got done talking, we probably came up with another half hour's worth of materials. All right, basketball, and we're going to get into the Joe Naismith He's Joe Naismith. I may have the wrong first name. Naismith's invented basketball. All right. If you have a minor interest in basketball, you kind of know that. But we got into things like, well, what about the development, the economic development issues of basketball? How much does it add to the economy? What about the Pro League not playing this year? What's that do to a city that has a professional basketball team? What about Title IX and the onset of women in basketball? What about the fact that we just had the WNBA team, the Fever in Indianapolis, almost go all the way? They got to the last game of the playoff to get into the tournament, and there's just all kinds of things. Do you know that one of the largest high school gyms in the world is in Newcastle, Indiana? All right, we could talk about that. Do you know that if you go to Newcastle, Indiana, you also are right next door to the Indiana High School Basketball Hall of Fame? Another thing worth seeing. What about the divisional playoffs in Indiana? There used to be one division. Now there are, I think, 5, maybe 4. What about the advent of girls basketball in Indiana? What about some famous names in Indiana? We know about Larry Bird. What about Damon Bailey? What about some of the other people? What about Reggie Miller, whose sister Cheryl still does some play-by-play? And Reggie said she had a better shot than he did. There's stories. See how this information then starts to come out, and it's not just a boring, old, tired story about basketball. Talk to me about basketball. Talk to me about what kinds of things used to happen in it. Basketball was king in Indiana. Why do we talk about Hoosiers being basketball crazy? That's another informative thing. What about the movie Hoosiers? You see how many things you can talk about when you just start talking? Talk to some people you know. Say, what other things do you know about this topic that you might be interested in knowing about, or if you didn't know about, you would like to hear more about? There's lots of stuff to talk about. So have some fun with it. Be informative. Be conversational. Don't talk at me. Talk to me. Correct the camera shots. Show the audience the way you're supposed to show the audience. Do the speech notes, speech outline, and turn everything in on time. Okay? If you have any questions, call me in my office. Have a great weekend.